Hey guys, XJ9's here, and today's gonna be a video about how to do magic in general, both low level as in like starter out with magic, and high level. So first off, the most important thing to do with magic, in my opinion, to do like how I do, is go to settings, escape settings, combat and action bar, and then action bar, and you see manual spellcasting. You want this off, so don't check this. This allows you to, like, during an ability, not during ability, but before you do an ability, say right now I'm on in say fear, right? Well, if I want to swap to exaggerate, you would have to do F1 and 4, and it will swap to wild magic with that cast. So that's a really important tip to do, to like have a nice seamless experience with magic, in my opinion. This is how I like to do it. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about important upgrades to have, like to actually even do magic, which is what I have on as well. Let me breathe for a second. Sorry. So I'm not gonna edit that out, guys. But the essence of finality amulet is probably the most important thing ever with magic, especially when starting out, because you need it to dump your adrenaline. Because magic has like no adrenaline dump really. That's like good. So once you get an essence of finality, it doesn't have to be an ornament kit. Just a regular one will do fine. Don't worry about ornament kit. Just get a regular one. Is put an Ivan staff. Ivan staff does so much damage. It's way better than a Gothic staff. It dumps more adren. It's pretty much twice the damage. Just a really good special attack. You would only use Gothic staff if the target, you actually had to debuff it, but you'd probably swap back after. So in general, just use an Ivan blast. It's really good. Greater concentrated blast. So this ability is like what, under 20 mil. It's extremely strong. It does all the hits within one global cooldown, and it makes your next hit have 50% crit chance. Well, yeah, your next first attack of your next ability. So if you do an Omni Power, only the first hit of Omni Power will crit. If you do a Wild Magic, I'm pretty sure only the first hit of Wild Magic will benefit from the 50% crit chance. I might be wrong about that. I read the wiki quick, and it does say the first hit of the next ability. Maybe it's an exception with Wild Magic. I'm not sure. But in general, having the Greater Concentrated Blast into like a Wild Magic or Greater Concentrated Blast into Ivan Blast is really strong. So do get this codex. It's dirt cheap. Blast Fusion Boots. These aren't a necessity at all. Like, I don't use detonate, but they're so cheap. They're under 2 mil that you might as well get them. And who knows if they'll maybe ever get buffed with like a greater detonate or something. And also, detonate isn't a bad ability. I would only really use it at bosses like Telos, maybe. Oh, Zuck. Zuck is a good boss because of all the minions. But besides that, it's just a really cheap boot. Just, you might as well get it because it's so cheap. What else? Carapax wrist wraps. These aren't a must-have. Especially, I think the enhanced version might be a little bit pricier. I actually haven't looked. It's probably like under 10 mil. Like, guys, I'm not even gonna look this up fast. Enhanced Carapax wrist wraps, guys. What is this? It is actually only 16 mil, but the regular gloves were under a mil. So again, it's a case of they're so cheap, you might as well get them because they're like cheaper than other options. Like, they're cheaper than Virtus gloves, and they do a pretty good job of doing damage with combust. If the boss is ever poisonable, such as Solak, Telos, sorry, Telos, I said Telos. Ew, I don't say Telos. But, a boss that can be poisoned, bring Cinder Veins because they are infinitely better than Carapax gloves at any poisonable boss. Greater Sunshine. So I wasn't sure to put Greater Sunshine here or not, but I just think those extra 7-8 seconds that Greater Sunshine gives you without the need of like doing a planet feed switch, it's just so nice of a quality of life and a huge damage increase because you'll only have 23 seconds of downtime compared to 30 seconds of downtime. I would honestly almost say it's mandatory to get this for Magic to like be serious in PvM. Like, you can do fine without it, but like, it's just so good. And it's about what, under 150 mil, so yeah, just do that. Corruption Blast. I think the Basket Codex is like what, 30, 50 mil. Again, it's just a very solid ability, especially outside Sunshine cooldowns. If you don't have a Fracture Staff of Armor, it's also extremely good to use this ability. So do, you know, get this ability. And the most important thing is probably the completion of the City of Sensiston quest. Gosh. And that is to unlock Smoke Cloud, Animate Dead. Animate Dead we don't actually use, by the way. But Smoke Cloud, Insight Fear, and Exanguate. Insight Fear and Exanguate are just so important, and you need to probably just camp Insight Fear unless you're comfortable switching. But in general, Insight Fear is probably better than Exanguate, as long as you have an Essence of Finality. And Smoke Cloud is super important because, again, Magic's really only play style right now is to crit a lot, and this improves crit damage by 15%, which is pretty insane if you were to ask me. So yeah, definitely take that. The total budget, I think, for all this is like 400 mil to 450 mil. So a little bit steep, I know, but you know, maybe you're a skiller, maybe you're a necromancer, and you want to go into magic, go do that. The next stuff I want to talk about is what the important upgrades to get ASAP are. I will say I'm probably gonna maybe even edit the video a little bit, but probably not. Is I will have timestamps below, or yeah, timestamps below, and you can see like go through the video and be like, oh, I want to see how to do the magic rotation at a high level or a low level. You could just skip all this and go to the end of the video. I'm gonna put in descriptions and the comment. You know, just use the timestamps, please, if you are not interested in what gear you should prioritize, because I'm just gonna go through the gear. Then we're going to a low level rotation, a medium level rotation, and then a high level rotation, and then even a higher level than that. So, important things to get ASAP are Zuck Cape. Zuck Cape is really good with Omni Power. It's not like mandatory by any means, but it's just a nice solid ability. Biting 4 plus mobile. Biting 4 mobile, like, you should get Biting 4 mobile because you want Enhanced Devoted 4. Otherwise, it's kind of tricky to even get Enhanced Devoted 4. You probably have to like dump it completely. And Biting 4, again, 8% crit chance or 8.8% with level 20 gear is pretty good, especially with a Fracture Staff Armor, so do get that. Tier 95 Wand and Core, these are pretty cheap right now. Again, I haven't looked at the price, but I heard like they're like 500 mil, maybe they're 600, maybe they went up. But they're really, honestly, easy to get from the Sanctum of Rebirth, and a lot of people are doing it, so yeah, they're just tier 95 damage, a really good special, really good passive. Definitely recommend getting these. A Chandler's Ring, I don't have it on me right now, but Chandler's Ring is honestly really important with crit builds, just to have more consistent crits and crit damage. A Fracture Staff Armor, this is probably the most important weapon of Magic, but it's been going up recently. I think it's almost 2 bill, or maybe over 2 bill at this point. It's just pretty much what makes Magic Magic at this point. It outclasses the tier 95 Wand and Orb, but of course, it's 2 bill compared to like the 600 mil of the current tier 95 weapons for Magic, for the dual wield. So do get that whenever you can. And Calgrim Demon Familiar. This familiar is almost mandatory for Magic. You can get away using like a Blood Reaver, honestly, because the damage will not pretty much be the same, but you know, it'll be solid. The Calgrim Demon though is definitely better, just because again, the more you crit, the more damage you have, and that's just really strong. So yeah, just try to get used to using a Calgrim Demon, and there's no shame if you have to use a Hellhound or a Blood Reaver to learn it. I've done that myself, so don't worry about that. And the last section about upgrades are niche upgrades, aka like they might be good, but they're either like so expensive that you shouldn't worry. They shouldn't get in your way of your core build, because that was the core build we just went through. So let's just get right into it. So Limitless Sigil, this thing's like 1 bill right now, I think, and it's just a really good sigil. It works with all styles, which is why it's so expensive. You can cast a Reflect in a pinch. You can cast any threshold. It helps a lot with magic rotations if you get like unlucky crits or your Dren pot isn't up. So yeah, try to get that whenever. Enchantment of Flames for Carapax Wrist Wraps. It's about 200 mil. Again, it's nothing super special. It's just what, an extra 15 15% more combust damage. It's nothing too crazy. It's just extra, right? Magma Tempest. Its ability of Magma Tempest is pretty good, but again, it's not like super important. It can be used like before the start of a fight, before you tsunami. it does really good damage. It's just not something you should go out of your way for until you finish everything else. Greater Chain. Greater Chain, again, it's a good ability, but boss encounters don't usually require you to use Greater Chain. It's kind of like, even at the Saint Rebirth, like Greater Chain the boss into an Enfeeble doesn't even kill the Green Scarab because it does half damage. Like, it isn't, oh, I just bit my tongue. It isn't even so, it's just not that important, so don't worry about it. Tier 99 prayers, they're good. It's just, again, they're like a bill right now, so they don't do anything besides damage and accuracy, so they're just damage. So just don't get them if you don't have everything else, such as a Fractured Staff or Orbital. Shard of Genesis, same thing. It's really good, but it's 2 bill plus, so you don't want to get it until you have, you know, your Fractured Staff or Orbital, your Grimoire and such. I actually forgot to mention the Grimoire, guys, but, you know, oops. The Grimoire is honestly kind of important with Magic. I apologize for forgetting. That's the one thing I forgot. I'm not going to edit that. But the Grimoire, extremely important for Magic. You pretty much like need to use a Grimoire, or you're just going to notice like no crits at all. I will say the Shard of Genesis is probably a better upgrade than the Tier 99 Prayers, because it affects bleed damage. Prayers do not improve bleed damage, so that's something to keep note of. And another thing is 100 normal mode or hard mode for Cath kills, and it's just because Magic has no reason not to use the Zemurgo's Nexus for a better Bone Shield by 15 levels, and also hold Necromancy runes that cast Darkness. And the last ability is Greater Sonic Wave, and you should just get it just because it's so cheap, but yeah, it's kind of garbage, honestly. Like, there's no reason to use it, really. Like, I think even 2 hits of Concentrated Blast is pretty much the same damage as Sonic Wave, which is kind of funny. Like, I can't be asked to use it, honestly. So, besides that, we're just going to go right into the next section, which will be our key binding. So, I'll catch you there. Hey guys, so about key binding. So, nothing too complicated, but, you know, my ability bar, like, some people ask, like, oh, why do you have your ability bar like this? It's just like what I'm comfortable with. You know, you just have all your basic core abilities you use a lot. Your Sunshine. I always put my Eat, Food, and Seradom and Brew on the same key binding to always just, you know, have a general, you know, button to actually heal. I will say, it is probably better, honestly, just to move this Eat, Food button and Seradom Brew on, like, a secondary bar, such as the bar on the right, and just change the key bindings to S and D, because then you don't have to put every single bar S and D, Eat, Food, and Seradom Brew. You can actually put something else like on these 2 slots and like change the, you know, the key bind. I might do that eventually. I'm just kind of stubborn and never actually bother doing that, so just an FYI. And then, you know, Freedom's always on Q, Anticipation is always on W, Resonance is always on E, Shift E is my Divert. So I'm just saying, like, you could save a lot of bar space if you just move like your Food, your Brew, your Freedom, your Anticipate, and Resonance on like another bar where it's always the same, and just put the key bindings there. Because then all of a sudden I have like 5 more spaces for magic spells, which is pretty crazy. I actually might do that at some point. It's gonna look really weird though, because I'm so used to like looking at my cooldowns like visually, but I don't think it's that big of a deal, because like, you rarely even need these things, and it would be right there. So just saying about that. Incite Fear is keybound on F4 and Exandroids on F1. I just find that easy. It's both ends of my F keys for, you know, it's F1, F2, F3, F4. Then it goes to the next section, F5, F6, F7, F8. I just find that comfortable to do. So, like, let's attack with Incite Fear, and you see how it procs. I'm going to do a F1 into Concentrated Blast, and you see how it changes to Exandroid. That's, you know, just how I like to, like, do magic. Oh, let's go back to Incite Fear. We did F5 into Asphyxiate. One thing you can do too, so I'm on Exandroid, if you spam F4 or do it at a certain tick, you see how it changed my spell? It's really clunky, because you have to do it at, I think, like the start of the damage tick or something. I don't really typically do that, because I don't like spamming, you know, with my hands. I like to relax my hands, so I don't like doing that too much. So again, like, we want to proc Incite Fear, F4 Dragon Breath. Go back to Exandroid, F1 and conk. You know, things like that is just, that's how I like to play with. When I typically start fights as well, if we go to action bar settings, well, can I even go to controls? Yeah, so another important setting I use a lot is cycle target forwards. I don't use backwards, but I put it on my C key. So let's say I'm gonna go fight, you know, a dummy here. My plan here is I'm gonna click Z for my surge, and then C, and then my smoke cloud key, which is, if you see how you can highlight right here, it's the key next to 1. I'm gonna smoke cloud and sunshine. So something like that is what you would want to do. Okay. And he's also applied. Another trick you can do is let me get my cooldown really fast. And you can mostly do this because of dual wielding camping, which is always nice. Whatchamacallit? Well, maybe I shouldn't be showing this, guys. But you know, guys, we're gonna save it for later. I was just explaining. I'm gonna show some tricks later. But I'm just saying that's why I have like how the keybinds. Sorry, we are talking about keybinds, so that's just how you do that. I'll talk about the trick later. Enfeeble, I just usually just, you know, like I'm in combat, I just double tap both, and there you go. Enfeeble's on. Oh, I want to cast Disruption Shield. I just tap. I do have a keybound, like I can just do this, and it's on. I never really bothered doing that. Maybe I should, to be honest, but I just never have. And what else? Oh, so all these other spells like Shield Dome you see on my right and Intercept, they're very niche. I rarely use them. They can be good if you have no defensives. It's mostly honestly just for like Zamorak or maybe Solak or something like that to take like a big hit without using like Reflect or something. Intercept's mostly just for, you know, teaching people like Intercept Cade or Cade Intercept. And Shield Dome's just for, I mean, it can be used as a group, but it's not, you know, you're usually encouraged not to actually stack on top of each other. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I will talk about, right before we get into the rotations, is a trick you can do, and I will show this fast, is if we go to Solak quickly, let's go to Solak. So let's just pretend we're doing Solak, right? One thing you could do here is cast Divert, and then, oh my god, start the fight, Sunshine, and you see how I just got, oh, he splashed. So, he splashed sadly also, but I kind of mistimed it. You can get like 2 attacks in before your Divert runs out. Marithal's still talking. It's essentially a free adrenaline. Like, if you were to hit me there, I would get back 16% adrenaline. That's just a really cool trick to do, like before you Sunshine, just like Divert into Sunshine, and like you Divert before you actually do the Sunshine and start you know, rotation. So it's just a nice way, like or Gladecore, Ambassador, like before you surge in the fight Ambassador, you Divert. You can do this with all styles as well. So just a big FYI on that. So do keep that in mind. I don't think I need to like edit this out right now, so we're just gonna keep going. Let's talk about magic rotations, okay, guys? And you know what? I'm gonna edit out, guys. Sorry, guys. So regarding magic rotations, we're just gonna start with a really simple Virtus set. So again, I have Virtus armor. The perks are really garbage because I was AFKing Virus with these, but you know, like the legs are fine. You know, it has enhanced devoted. Is this enhanced devoted 4? Yeah, enhanced devoted 4, impatient 4. That's solid. And the only thing I'm really missing, honestly, is just, you know, a relentless 5 or crackling 4 and maybe a biting 3. But you know, if you're just starting out, like, just, you know, get those if you can. So the beginner rotation with magic. Well, first off, let me finish off with talk about the gear. Sorry. So besides the Virtus armor, we have Carapax wrist wraps. Let's just say we're fighting, I don't know, the Sanctum. Nothing's poisonable, so we're using Carapax wrist wraps. We have a Zuck cape, but you don't need it. As in, sometimes, like, Omni power is really good, but you can make do without it. Okay. The Essence of Finality, again, must have with for Ivan Blast. We have an Asylum Surgeon ring with this low end setup because, you know, the ring of the Challenger's ring is 150 mil-ish. Or 120 mil? It's a little bit pricey, so maybe you don't have the money for that. We have a Zimmergle's Nexus. Again, if you don't have this, it's not a big deal at a low level rate. And if you do have a Grimoire, you would use a Scripture of Amiska. I think it's probably best to use this just because it improves your ability damage, which Magic has a hard time hitting the hit cap, and also it impacts bleeds because it increases your ability damage. So pretty good for that as well. And then a bunch of Blubberfish, 2 restores, a Vitality Pot, the tank stuff. We have Magic Rune pouches with Blood, Soul, Cosmic, Astral, Air, Chaos, Water, Death, Body, Earth, Law, Astral, and Soul, Body, Earth, and Fire. I have 2 bodies, but maybe I might replace that with like Water, because you actually chug Water runes like crazy. And Blood, not Blood. Fire and Water runes you chug like crazy, so I might swap that at some point. And then, inexpensive spices that make Blubberfish heal an additional 50 per bite for a total of, 150 more HP. Stardom and Brew just in case. And, Vuln Bomb, you should always be taking Vuln Bombs to any PvM encounter. It's 10% damage for free. And, best Overload you have, best Adrenaline Potion you have. If you don't have an Adrenaline Renewal Flask, that's okay, especially with lower end setups that don't need the Adrenaline for, I guess, a Fracture Staff or Armortal. And obviously a Luck of Dwarves for the loot. And Excalibur. So we're going to put on our quick prayers, which is Soul Split and Anguish, as you can see. Or, sorry, Torment. And so to begin a rotation, Warriors Retreat. I've never done dummies, guys, but begin a rotation, we're going to Target Cycle and cast Smoke Cloud. So practice this first off, like before you do even Sunshine. So I'm going to click C and then my Smoke Cloud key. So C, Smoke Cloud. You see how it just applies like just like that? That's something to test out and get used to doing, okay? So I'm going to do it again. C, Smoke Cloud. You see how this applies? Like, you want to be able to do that. Another thing you want to do at that point to elevate your training, guys, and let's try to get out of combat first, is we're going to see Smoke Cloud, Sunshine. And doing this trick perfect is a little bit tricky, as in, I don't do trick perfect, honestly, but, you can do something like this, like, we ate a food, and then, just attack with Conk, Dragon Breath, Corruption Blast, and Tsunami. That's a pretty basic rotation for a low-end setup. Again, I want to stress out low-end setup. Like, we do a little bit of a different rotation there, where instead of casting Dragon Breath, we would cast Magma Tempest. But just saying, that's what you would do for a low-level setup. I'm going to put the script on, by the way. You know what, screw it, we'll overload too, guys. We're not skimping out on this. So, that's the basic, get your Tsunami up rotation, okay? So, at that point, what else do we want to do, guys? Well, you actually want to vuln it. But a trick you can do is, let's say that, I'm just going to Sunshine the fight. You can actually do a Smoke Cloud like right now. Or, sorry. I think you actually have to spam it. I don't typically do that because I usually apply it before. But during the Sunshine animation, you can actually apply a Smoke Cloud. I've only really used that for Enfeeble. So, let me show you this little trick fast. So we're going to target this dummy, and we're going to, just to say we dove. Do I have dive, guys? I don't have dive, but I'm just going to anticipate. So we're going to Sunshine, and then you can cast Smoke Cloud into Conk, and it'll get applied. You might have to click on the ground, or just spam it a little bit. Like you have to do it at a certain tick. Like, it's like 1 or 2 game ticks after the Sunshine. Again, it's a little bit weird, and also I don't recommend spamming Smoke Cloud because it ends up like queuing the ability, which can be bad. So don't really do that. Another trick though is, let's get out of combat fast. Okay, get out of combat, and we're going to target cycle Smoke Cloud into Spellbook Swap Enfeeble. So target and then Enfeeble into didn't go. But Enfeeble into Concentrated Blast into Dragon Breath, and that's a nice way to get a debuff on. It's mostly nice for really hard content, such as like maybe Zamorak pushing or hard mode Sanctum. It can really save lives. So that's a little cool trick that I sometimes utilize, mostly with group content. I don't really need it, so I don't do it for myself. But again, let's try to do this again, where we Smoke Cloud Sunshine into Enfeeble, and why is it not going? I don't know, guys. Maybe I honestly think it's because of the tick. So let me show you this trick. So you see, I was going wrong, and it's mostly because I need to do it like at the end Oh no, but we're essentially 4-ticking at that point? I'm not even quite sure. But I'm doing it in a way where I normally don't even do it. So let's try this again, guys. Where we go up to this. And we're going to Smoke Cloud, Delay, Sunshine, and then Enfeeble. And yeah, see how like I didn't do a tick perfect? You're able to do the Enfeeble as you cast Concentrated Blast. So then you get both buffs on. So guys, all we're doing at this point is crushing grapes. You know, you want to get into the meat and potatoes, you know. So we're gonna do just that, and you know, this is a little tricks and stuff. The start out, because the start out of the start of the rotation is the most important part of Magic. So let's just talk about rotation to do with, you know, just a tier 95 wand and a core. You don't have a fractal staff armor yet. You don't have money. Okay, so we're gonna again. I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna do, and the most important thing to do is when you're in combat too, or even out not in combat, you can click autocast and swap to Exandrite or Incite Fear. You probably always want to be on Incite Fear, so always camp Incite Fear. And because when you're starting out Magic, I wouldn't bother swapping spells. Don't worry about it. I think the best spell to camp with Magic is Incite Fear. So at a base level, just camp Incite Fear. When you're feeling more keen and like maybe you want to bump out your damage, then you would swap to Exandrite. You know, and like maybe cycle between them, like so. And I will explain this. So let's do target cycle a Sunshine into Conk, Dragon Breath. Oh, we went to a Dren Pod, Corruption Blast, Tsunami, Conk, Wild Magic. Let's say we don't have a Zuck Cape, you would do an Asphyxiate, boom, 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 Conk, and then do a Ivan Blast, Dragon Breath, Conk. Ivan Blast, guys. Maybe just cast a rack. Sorry, that's bonus damage. We're gonna cast another Ivan Blast, Dragon Breath, Conk, and again, like it's at a base level, Magic's kind of like plain. So our Sunshine's about to run out. So at this point, you can cast, you know, Corruption Blast, then tier 95 special. Oh, it reset. Great. We cast Combust, Dragon Breath. We can do another tier 95 special. Okay, we're out. So at this point, we want to start building. So start building, because your Sunshine's going to come up soon, along with your Tsunami. So we just need to cast a bunch of basic abilities. Let's get our wand stacks up. So prioritize bleeds. We're going to re-Sunshine and keep attacking the boss. We're not Tsunami, so you don't have to worry about using actual abilities. You want to use bleeds. You Tsunami, Conk. Well, we're supposed to Wild Magic, but that's okay. Sometimes you might make that mistake. Conk, Wild Magic, Asphyxiate. And we're going to do the same thing here, where we Conk, Ivan Blast, Dragon Breath. And let's just say you have a Zuck Cape, you'd probably want to like Conk, Omni Power. And you know what? Corruption Blast, because we don't have much else, right? Conk, Ivan Blast, Dragon Breath. We can do this last tick. Oh, yep, we're in the Sunshine. Do that big damage. So, again, I don't have Biting 4, so I'm not critting as much as I should be, which kind of sucks. Also, not having that Gamora really sucks. I'm losing out on over 20% critical strike chance. Well, that's a pretty basic rotation. Again, when your Sunshine ends, you would throw this wand out, do the bleed damage. Oh, look, we keep on getting resets. Just keep on spamming your bleed. Why? Because look, he stacks 100 stacks. I'm doing a bonus of 220 damage a hit, which is really good. And again, it's the same bread and butter. Just Conk, Wild Magic, Asphyxiate. Conk. We're gonna Omni Power here. Conk, Omni Power, Dragon Breath. Oh, we actually didn't Tsunami though, by the way. Oops, we didn't Tsunami. Sorry. I was thinking about ending the rotation there. But yeah, if you ever desync your abilities, it's usually pretty bad, because you really want to cast Tsunami right after the Sunshine. Otherwise, again, you see, they're desynced, which is really bad. So again, don't do what I did just now. But besides that, you'll do just fine. Again, like, look at all this bleed damage. Bleeds are extremely good outside Sunshine, and as long as you don't have a Tsunami buff. So just do that. And I will catch you on the next part of this video. Hey guys, so we're back here, and this time I have, my Fracture Staff armor in my inventory, a Channeler's Ring for crit chance, along with the enchantment for the Channeler's Ring. And we have Elite Tectonic, but it's mostly because it has my Biting 4 in it, and my, Relentless 5, Clockling 4, and Enhanced Devoted, Mutation 4, Devoted 4. So again, really important just to have the Fracture Staff armor at this point. Challenger's Ring with enchantment and Biting 4. You can still be using Virtus Armor. Elite Tectonic isn't that important of an upgrade, I'm just saying. And we're going to start with our rotation. So we're overloaded. We have Anguish on. Again, we're going to pretend we don't have Tier 9 Prayers or Magma Tempest yet. And we're going to target cycle. Oh, sorry. So I'm trying to cheat a little bit, but we'll attack this one. So we're going to, what the heck? Target cycle, Smoke Cloud, Sunshine. Camping. We're also going to camp Incite Fear, just for the sake of this. Dragon Breath, Corruption Blast, Tsunami into Staff of Armor special, Conk, and we didn't get a crit, so you just have to live with it. We can just Wild Magic, I guess so, because that kind of stinks. Conk, Asphyxiate, let's this whole Asphyxiate go through. We're going to Conk. Ivan Blast with 100% Adrenaline. Oh, we got lucky. This is Ivan Blast again. We're going to Conk into an Omni Power into Tendril here. Tendril after the Omni Power. Just want to dump your Adrenaline and get it back. Conk and Wild Magic. That was a little bit unlucky, I will say. At this point, you can go back to your Wand and Core and use your specials. It is probably better also to camp the Wand Core, especially if you have a Genesis, but since we're not really using bleeds, it's not too important. And at this point, we kind of just want to build and maintain our stacks of corruption. You know, we're doing some resets, keep bleeding to keep maintaining the stacks of corruption. We're going to reuse Sunshine. We need to cast Tsunami ASAP. We're going to use a Combust to maintain stacks. Tsunami, put on the Staff of Armoral. We're going to Conk, and we did not get lucky at all there. So we're going to cast our Staff of Armoral special. We don't have our Gamora on, guys, so that's probably why. So, oopsie daisy, my guys. Conk, Wild Magic. We have so much Adrenaline, we're going to dump a Omni Power. We're going to Conk. Oh, we have a lot of Adrenaline. We're going to do a Ivan Blast into a Tendril. Get all of our Adrenaline back. To a Conk. We have so much Adrenaline. We want to Ivan Blast again. Big hit. We're just going to let this Asphyxiate go. And at that point, we can do a Corruption Blast into a Tier 95 special. Oh, we got lucky. But guess what? Corruption Blast into another Tier 95 special. To another Corruption Blast. We have so many stacks at this point. We just start conking. And at this point, we want to go back to our 100% Adrenaline. Let's try to do the rotation correctly this time, guys. So we're going to, I guess, use Greater Chain as a filler ability. And we're going to Sunshine into a Conk into a Corruption just to maintain our stacks. Into Tsunami, go to Staff of Armoral, Conk, into Staff of Armoral special, Dragon Breath, Conk, into a Wild Magic. We have 50% Adrenaline. We need Adrenaline, so you cast Tendrils here because we need Adrenaline. Into a Conk. We're going to Ivan Blast here. Ooh, look, those big hits. Asphyxiate, let it go through. Into a Conk, into an Ivan Blast. 60% Adrenaline, we're going to Omni Power into a Conk Wild Magic. Boom, 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 boom. If you're really frisky, you can do Ivan Blast at the last tick. Into a Corruption Blast, Dragon Breath, Tier 95 special. Oh, we got a reset. Combust. And again, at this point, you would want to build back up to 100% Adrenaline. I will note that if you're low on Adrenaline, it is probably not worth doing another Tier 95 special, because you're not going to have Adrenaline for your Sunshine time. You see how I'm barely making it? I could do a Tier 95 special, but doing that is kind of griefing at that point. We can Tsunami here. Again, you can again, in this certain circumstance, it's actually kind of okay to actually use the Tier 95 special, and then Staff Armor, just because we had so much Adrenaline. Like, as like rarely happens. I don't recommend doing that. I actually like never do that. It might be good in some scenarios to like burst something, but you know, just saying. Again, we have 100% Adrenaline, so we're going to Conk into an Ivan Blast. Okay, we're going to Tendril. Again, we didn't get that many crits. We're going to Tendril, get back our Adrenaline. We're going to Conk into an Omni Power here. Dragon Breath, again, we don't want to go, like, we don't want to deplete our Adrenaline. That's the whole goal. So Conk, Wild Magic. I'm just going to do a Fixate. I just want to keep my Adrenaline. We're just going to Conk into a Corruption Blast. Into a Tier 95 special. Oh, yeah, we don't have a Tier 95 special. But that's just, in general, how to do a good rotation with, like, no Magma Tempest and not swapping, like, between Exandriate or anything. So I'm going to see you guys in a moment with the next part of our training, okay? Hey guys, XJ9's here, and yeah, for this part, we're going to actually swap between Incite Fear and Exandriate. And we're going to do a simple version where we only swap to Incite Fear when we want to cast Tsunami, and then just camp Exandriate after. I do personally keep the Incite Fear stacks up, just because I find the damage and chance to crit really strong. But again, I don't recommend that until you just get used to swapping between Incite Fear after the Tsunami ends, or after you cast it, you swap to Exanguate. So again, we're gonna overload here. We're gonna put on our Grimoire. Don't forget about the Grimoire. And we have Incite Fear on, so we're gonna do Target Cycle, Smoke Cloud into Sunshine, into Conch, into Magma Tempest, Corruption Blast, swap to F1 Tsunami, Sapphire Armor Special, Conch, Wild Magic. We're gonna Tendril here since we're low on Adrenaline. Boom, 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 boom. Conch. We're gonna do an Ivan Blast Special. We're gonna do an Asphyxiate here. Boom, 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 boom. We're gonna do another Ivan Blast Special. We're gonna do a Dragon Breath. I think my Omni Power to end here. Conch, Wild Magic. We're gonna do a Omni Power. Our thing. Our Sunshine ran out, but after that, it's just go back to the wand, Corruption Blast, and cast your Tier 95 special. To be honest, I'm not sure if canceling Fixate is important here, but I'm just trying to maintain Adrenaline while using Threshold abilities. I want to cast my Sunshine, so Sunshine, F4, Concentrated Blast into Dragon Breath into Corruption Blast, Tsunami. We want to do our Sapphire Armor switch. We're going to Sigil here since we got unlucky. It is better to use Conch in the Sapphire Armor because then your Sapphire Armor benefits from 50% crit chance. Concentrated Blast into Wild Magic. Asphyxiate. Probably should have maybe Omni Powered honestly, but it's fine. We're going to Conch into an Ivan Blast. And we didn't get any crits. So we're just going to Conch into an Omni Power here. Into a Rack and Rune. Into a Conch. Into an Ivan Blast. Boom. And then at that point, go back to our Wand Core, Corruption Blast, Tier 95 Special, Conch, Combust, and just, you know, Magma Tempest does such solid damage. We could have actually put in a Threshold here. Maybe I should have Wild Magic a little bit earlier, but that's okay. Again, just maintaining those stacks, and I'm just going to use Rack and Rune since I don't even have Exanguate up. Again, Sunshine, Dragon Breath, we can use Magma Tempest if you have it. Into a Tsunami, swap F1, Conch, what do you even call it? Concentrated Blast. I actually should have Prime Knob casted a bleed there, but it has pros because then you can maintain your Corruption stacks for extra damage. We're just going to Omni Power here. Omni Power to Conch into Ivan Blast. Boom. Into a Asphyxiate. Let that go. Boom. 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 Concentrated Blast into a Ivan Blast. Dragon Breath, and Wild Magic. You should get 2 Wild Magics every rotation. I messed up the last rotation, I think. And then you can Corruption Blast into a Tier 95 Wand Special. I will say, I typically do switch to my Wand Core after the Fractal Sapphire Armor, but when you're talking, it's kind of hard to do that. I do believe you do keep your Essence of Corruption stacks in the Fractal Sapphire Armor. I might be wrong, but just saying. I'm going to talk about the next type of rotation, which is swapping between the two while in combat. And I might not be able to talk as much, so again, this is like the final step of your training. So I'll get right into that. Hey guys, so I'm here with the final part of the training, which is just really just the same thing we did, just swapping between Incite Fear and Exanguate, and really just making use of the Incite Fear proc along with Exanguate damage throughout. So we're going to Adren Pot, Vuln, Incite Fear, Conch, Magma Tempest, Corruption Blast, Tsunami with Sapphire Armor, Tier 95 Special, Conch, do a Wild Magic. We're at Tendril here. I think we should have maybe Omni Power to be honest, but oopsies. We're at Conch into a Ivan Blast. I'm gonna do a Fixate. I think I got really lucky with those crits. Conch swapping to Incite Fear, Omni Powering, Dragon Breath. Swap back. When I hear the ching ching ching, I go back to Incite Fear. We're gonna do a Ivan Blast. We're gonna Conch, and then just do a Tier 95 Special. Should honestly put back my wand, but that's fine. Let's just pretend we're doing a boss. Dragon Breath, Corruption Blast, big damage. Let's do a Magma Tempest. We can do a Fixate here. Oh, I lost my stacks. I sometimes, again, I'm not perfect. I forgot my stacks of Incite Fear. Let's build them back up. They're back up. Alright, Conch, Wild Magic, Corruption Blast, Conch. I guess I'll back with Tempest. Maybe it's better to do the Insight Fear. Oh, I should have Staff of Armor there, but that's okay. We're gonna Staff of Armor, Tendril, boom, boom, Conk, Wild Magic into a. We're just going Omni Power, guys. Omni Power into a Conk, into an Ivan Blast. We're gonna Tendril here. Ooh, we already Tendrilled, my bad, sorry. Attacking a dummy is so weird, guys. I apologize. Asphyxiate. Conk. And I guess I'm just gonna Ivan Blast again, guys. Woo. And then you go back to your bleeds. Corruption Blast, Turn 5 Special, Dragon Breath. Sometimes it's okay to use Rack and Rune. Like, maybe I'll just use it here just for more damage. But I typically don't actually use Rack and Rune too much. Again, I am kind of forgetting to swap between my spells a little bit. Again, I'll try to get, again, this rotation real quick. I'll even overload, guys. But, I don't attack dummies. I've actually never done this before. I hope you know that. But, you know, we're going to re-Sunshine. We're going to do our little tsunami trick into Staff of Armortals. Go back to our wand. Proc the Insight Fear. I should have Sigiled there, but again, attacking a dummy, guys. We're going to conk into an Omni Power. I'm going to Sigil, a Tendril. Boom. Boom. Insight Fear, conk. Ivan Blast. Exsanguinate and Asphyxiate. Big damage. We're going to conk into do Ivan Blast again. Wild Magic. Conk. Ivan Blast again. Into a Dragon Breath. And then we're going back to our bleed rotation after. We're just Corruption Blast. Turn 5 Special. And conk. You could cast Rock and Rune if you want. I will, just for the sake of it. I'm not sure if it's better or not, but it probably has. Again, it's good for burst rotation. I'm gonna cast a Fixate here just because it was better to cast Wild Magic. You do back your bleed and your Magma Tempest. Go back to your Sunshine, or Conk, or Tsunami, guys. That is a thing. Dragon Breath, swap to Exsanguinate. Turn 95 Special, get a reset. I'm gonna do Insight Fear, Wild Magic. Oop, and we're gonna do an Omni Power. Do a Conk, Ivan Blast. I'm looking at my adrenaline. That's the most important thing. That's like dictating what I'm doing. Like, oh, do I have enough adrenaline to like do an Ivan Blast or a Conk? I have so much adrenaline. Ivan Blast. We're gonna Fixate because we need our adrenaline back up. I need to swap the Insight Fear. You're gonna do F4 there. See how it proc just like seamlessly. It's pretty good. We're gonna do Ivan Blast here. Ivan Blast into a Dragon Breath. Blast Tick. And then it's just the same thing of just casting Corruption Blast. Sometimes I just get in the habit, like I have like an internal clock in my brain sometimes where like I just swap between F4 and F5, just like, Insight. I heard Insight Fear proc. It's time to switch. Like that's what I do. I did get to reset my wand, by the way, so I could have actually did my wand there instead of using I did Fixate. I typically don't even like using thresholds in that part. Just saying. So we're gonna conk into a tsunami, into I don't know, just do a Dragon Breath, I guess, into a Staff of Armortal, and then again same thing. Insight Fear. We're gonna Tendril here. Boom, boom, boom. Exsanguinate time. Just do a Ivan Blast into an Omni Power. Into swap to Insight Fear. Conk, Ivan Blast into a Asphyxiate. Boom, boom. Exsanguinate. Conk, Wild Magic, Ivan Blast, Conk, Ivan Blast, incoming, and then same thing, you do Corruption Blast. I don't think I had Adrenaline for my special, so I just did Combust to build. We got a reset. Again, I'm very low on my Adrenaline because I dumped that Ivan Blast at the end. So again, sometimes it might be bad to even dump your Ivan Blast at the very end, by the way, because then you won't have Adrenaline if you get a lucky proc, as you can see here. So just keep that in mind. Again, one more time, we're going to do the rotation one more time. Again, I don't have a Smoke Cloud. I'm actually used to not waiting that long, but yeah, I waited a tick there, then you can apply Smoke Cloud before your next cooldown. So my bad, I kind of forgot about that. And then, you know, we just do go back to our same rotation. Again, doing a W is very strange. Obviously, you want to cast a Smoke Cloud every Sunshine rotation because you should be able to do it seamlessly. Ivan Blast. We're going to do a Tendril since we did not get any Adrenaline during that whole thing. Conk, Ivan Blast. We're just gonna Omni Power, and we're gonna do a little bit of safer rotation here. So like to maintain our Adrenaline, we're just gonna do a Dragon Breath at end into a Corruption into a Turn 95 Special. Oh, see how I got reset? Now we can spam like see. That's why sometimes it might be bad to actually use like an Ivan Blast and have like no Adrenaline, because then you don't have adrenaline to actually cast thresholds. It just depends on the boss you are doing and like the flow of the fight, you know. And again, I'm getting kind of lazy here, not doing my Insight Fear stack, so my bad there. When you run out Insight Exandria stacks, it can be a good idea to use Rack and Rune if you ever forget. And then you just repeat. So again, like, I'm a little bit sloppy, I do agree, but because sometimes, you know, I'm not used to attacking a dummy at all, guys. I don't do this. But in general, again, you reapply a Smoke Cloud every 2 minutes. Usually when you're doing a boss and get comfortable, you'll know the timing is like, okay, Solak, Smoke Cloud to start. Let's Smoke Cloud at the start of part 2 after we destroy the core. Zamorak, I'm going to Smoke Cloud every 2 runes. At the Sancta Rebirth 3rd boss, I only Smoke Cloud at the start, and I Smoke Cloud once as I leave the mind to go on my symbol that wasn't selected. Like, those are the things that you need to remember to make this, you know, casting Smoke Cloud like a lot seamless. And even Vuln Bomb, like Vuln Bomb, I'm always like, okay, when the boss is doing this mechanic, I know to throw a Vuln Bomb, or oh, this part of the song's playing, it means a 1 minute pass. So yeah, just keep that in mind, okay? I hope you like this guide. Again, I'm not claiming to be like the best magic user in the world, or like this is the most optimal rotation. It's just how I do magic, how I'm finding success with magic. And no forward technique required. I'm not using detonate or anything like that. So yeah, maybe you can examine what I'm doing and, you know, just take it to heart. Again, I explained, like, I think I did a good job explaining, you know, the Ivan Blast, conking to Ivan Blast is super important. Ivan Blast by itself is kind of like you're kind of gambling at that point, because that 15% more crit is really huge with Ivan Blast. And, you know, if you use the Ivan Blast, like, oh, you have 50% adrenaline and your Sunshine's about to end, sometimes it's not worth using. Maybe just use a Rack and Rune there, because then you have no adrenaline to cast your turn 95 special. Because if you get lucky with 2 or 3 specials, you probably want to dump that, because it's easily 30,000 plus damage times 2 or 3. So just keep that in mind, and, you know, just practice, you know, get used to it. Again, like, it's kind of like I don't even think about swapping. Like, I'd like not think. Like, in PvMing, I succeed when I don't think, which is funny to say, right? Because I'm just like DPS. I'm like, okay, yeah, Insight Fear went off. Let's just swap to Exandria. Oh, I need Adrenaline this cast. Yeah, I'm gonna swap to Insight Fear with Wild Magic, like, because the benefit of the Insight Fear, you know, you manually casting it and making it go off when you want, is that you can get Adrenaline when you want it. So, oh, you know, again, like, oh, I'm gonna Wild Magic here, and I want an Omni Power after. You know, that extra hit with that crit chance can be the difference of, you know, saving seconds in a kill. So, yeah. Hope you like the guide. Bye!